Hello and welcome to this session on Introduction to Learning and Factors Affecting Learning. Learning occupies an important place in life. It is through learning that man brings in so much changes in his instincts that become difficult to recognize them. Learning therefore provides key to the structure of our personality and behavior. How learning takes place? What happens within the person when he learns? These are different questions in front of psychologists. Regarding the nature of learning, psychologists are still in disagreement with one another. Psychology has never presented in any one place a complete, unified and universally agreed upon account of the nature of learning. Hence, several psychologists put forth the different theories of learning. The essence of all educational processes is to ensure that students acquire certain skills and behave in a way that they had hitherto not behaved. This acquisition of skills and attitudes that leads to a change in behavior, which is the goal of education, is referred to as learning. This unit will discuss the concept of learning and important factors influencing learning. Learning is one of the most fundamental concepts in psychology. It is a basic and central component of the distinctive activities that constitute the subject matter of psychology. According to Gagne, the human skills, appreciations and reasoning in all their great variety, as well as human hopes, aspirations, attitudes and values are generally recognized to depend for their development largely on the events called learning. Gagne 1970. Learning is at the heart of perception, thinking, imagination, reasoning, judgments, attitudes, personality traits, systems of value and the development and organization of the activities that constitute personality of the individual. The society wants its young ones to fit into the scheme of things properly, to be well adjusted to the life of the community. Children therefore attend schools in order to learn. Teachers are hired because it is assumed that they possess the skills that will enable them to arrange school experiences so that learning will take place. The questions that often come to mind are: how do children learn? How should information be organized for learning to take place? Thousands of experiments on learning have been performed and dozens of theories have resulted. A great variety of teaching techniques based on these experiments and theories have been proposed and put into practice. This module introduced the concept of learning, its nature and characteristics, and therefore explain briefly how learning takes place in human beings. Concept and definition of learning. Learning is the central theme of educational psychology. It is a form of growth or change in a person which is manifested as new modes or patterns of behavior. All educational processes are appearing in formal, non-formal and informal context aimed at development of learning. Learning is the key process in human behavior which pervades everything we do and think. There is little disagreement among psychologists as to the importance of learning and the pervasiveness in nearly all forms of human activity. However, there is a marked difference in the ways they look at learning. There is no universally acceptable definition of learning, and indeed all psychological concepts. A huge body of literature on the subject matter of learning has been piled up by educational psychologists in their attempt to fathom out the characteristics and applications of learning. Learning cannot be directly observed, but can manifest itself in the activities of the individual. Human beings, more than all other living organisms, have the greater capacity to learn in all ways, and through language we can learn things we have neither experienced nor observed. Then what is learning? Several and sometimes varying definitions have been given by different psychologists on the meaning of learning. These definitions, however, seem to converge on certain trends which highlight the characteristics of learning. Learning can be defined as any relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of practice or experience. Learning is the process by which behavior is modified or changed through experiences or training. Learning always brings progressive change in the behavior of an individual, as a result of which the individual gets himself adjusted to the changing situation. Even other factors like fatigue, drugs, illness, etc. can also bring about changes in behavior, but such changes are purely transitory in nature, and changes produced by learning are relatively more enduring and stable. Learning is also defined as acquisition of a new behavior pattern, and it involves new ways of doing things. Shortly, learning is the modification of behavior for the attainment of specific goals. It is the process by which the organism, as a result of its interaction in a situation, acquires a new mode of behavior, which tends to persist and affect the general behavior pattern of the organism to some degree. Myers defined learning as a relatively permanent change in an organism's behavior due to experience. According to Vygotsky, learning is the process of the formation of relatively permanent neural circuits through the simultaneous activity of the elements of the circuits to be. Such activity is of the nature of change in cell structures through growth in such a manner as to facilitate the arousal of the entire circuit when a component element is aroused or activated. Whereas Hilgarden and Bower defines learning as the change in a subject's behavior to a given situation brought about by his repeated experiences in that situation, provided that the behavior change cannot be explained on the basis of native response tendencies, maturation, or temporary states of the subject, for example, fatigue, drugs, alcohol, etc. Webster Dictionary sum up common usages of the word learn as to gain knowledge or understanding or skill by study, instruction, or experience. The word gain in this definition is very important. It implies addition of new knowledge. From the above definitions, there are key elements that elucidate the nature and characteristics of learning. These are: learning exhibits itself as a change in behavior. Inference is made about learning by comparing the subject's initial behavior before he was placed in the learning situation and what behavior exhibited after the treatment. The change may be an increased capability in performance, altered disposition in attitude, interest, or value. This change must not be momentary, it must be relatively permanent. It should be retained over some period of time. Lastly, the change must be distinguishable from the kind of change that is attributed to growth, such as change in height or the development of muscles through exercise. Characteristics of learning: the changes brought about in our behavior through learning by all means are accounted as acquired phenomenon. Learning in this way can't be attributed to some or the other hereditary influences. It's earned and acquired by us like other attributes of our personality, and that is why learning of all types is given a common name, that is acquired behavior. It has its special nature and characteristics, a glimpse of which you may find through the following description. Learning is the change in behavior. Learning in its any form or shape is always associated with some change in the learner's behavior. That's why learning is always directed or aimed at bringing changes in the learner's behavior. However, these changes should always be desirable once as the undesirable changes, if allowed to occur, can prove detrimental to the welfare of the learner as well as to the society. Change in behavior is relatively enduring or permanent. Change in behavior caused by learning is neither too permanent as caused through maturation, nor too temporary as caused by the factors like fatigue, illness, etc. They lie between these two states and are usually referred to as relatively permanent changes, implying that although frequent or unwanted changes in the learner behavior can't take place, yet the needed changes can be introduced, like getting rid of the bad habits or unlearning a wrong method of doing things, etc. Learning is a continuous lifelong process. Learning, though not inherited, can begin right from the conception of the child. The environment available in the womb of the mother may work as a facilitator for such learning. After birth, the process of learning picks up speed with the constant interaction and stimulation received from the physical, social and cultural environmental forces, and it does not stop till one's death. Regarding its continuity, we have enough evidence that one activity leads to another and the individual engages himself to learn more and more. Every day, new problems are faced, new situations are created, and the individual has to face these situations and bring essential changes in his behavior. Thus, it is a never ending process and so referred to as a process which goes from womb to tomb. Learning is a universal process. We, the living creatures on this earth, have the abilities and capabilities for learning irrespective of the nature of our species, caste, color, sex, geographical location or some other such individual differences. The truth remains that every living being on earth has been favored by the nature to possess the capacity to learn according to the species specific characteristics and environment as well as opportunities available for learning. Learning is purposive and goal directed. All learning is goal directed. It is the definiteness of the aim and clear understanding of the purpose which makes an individual immediately learn the techniques of performing a particular task. It is the purpose or goal which determines what he sees in the learning situations and how he acts therein. Therefore, the purpose or goal is the pivot around which the entire system of learning revolves. In cases where there is no purpose, there would hardly be any learning. Learning involves reconstruction of experiences. We learn something at a particular stage and it is stored in our learning experiences in the form of past experience or learning for the learning of a future task. However, what has been learned by us at a particular occasion always remains in the state of modification in the light of new or richer experiences gained by individuals. Learning is the product of activity and environment. The basic condition of the emergence of any learning essentially lies in one's responding activity to the stimuli belonging to one's environment. In case the child is not willing to respond to the stimuli present in his learning environment, he can't be persuaded to proceed on the path of his learning journey. Therefore, the key to successful learning in any teaching learning process always lies in the active responding of the learner to the stimuli present or these activities going on in the teaching learning environment. Learning is transferable from one situation to another. Learning has a special characteristic of being transferred from one learning situation to another, having positive as well as negative effect. In its positive transfer, learning in one situation helps the learning in another situation, but in the case of negative transfer, we may observe that adverse effect when learning in one situation hinders or obstructs the path of learning in another situation. Learning does not necessarily imply improvement. Learning is often considered a process of improvement with the practice or training. This means that all types of learning helps the child in the path of his progress toward desired ends or results. But this is not always true. A child learns so many things in the classroom that do not help him at all in achieving his goal. Therefore, it should be known clearly that learning does not necessarily imply improvement with respect to the achievement of an end. Learning does not necessarily imply development in right direction. In a similar way, while defining learning as a process of development, the word development should never be confined to mean progress in right direction to achieve certain ends or results. Hence, as Woodworth clarifies in his definition, as a result of learning, the pattern of development is free to move in either direction, positive or negative. It is no guarantee that an individual will always pick up good knowledge, desirable habits, interests and attitudes. He has equal chance to be drifted to be debit side of the human personality. Learning helps in bringing desirable changes in behavior in all domains. Learning is the process of bringing changes in behavior. It can help in introducing desired changes in the behavior of the learner in all its three domains, that is cognitive, cognitive and affective. Learning helps in the attainment of teaching learning objectives. The teaching learning objectives and teaching learning situation can be effectively reached through the help of learning, and consequently children can be made to acquire essential knowledge, skills, applications, attitudes and interests. Learning helps in the proper growth and development. Learning helps in reaching to one's maximum in terms of growth and development under their various dimensions, namely physical, mental, emotional, social, moral, aesthetic and linguistic. Learning helps in the balanced development of personality. Our educational efforts are directed to bring in all round development in the personality of the child. The process of learning results in bringing such an all round development of the personality. Learning helps in proper adjustment. Adjustment is the key to success in life. Learning helps the individual to seek adjustment with his self and the environment. Learning helps in the realization of the goals of life. Every man has his own philosophy and style of life, and he strives to achieve the goals of his life. Learning process helps the individual to realize these goals. Learning is a very comprehensive process possessing a wide scope. The world of learning is considered to limit itself in the narrow walls of the activities concerning intellectual and motor efficiency. These are some of the learning activities which formally go on inside the classroom or in any arranged learning situation. But learning is not only limited to these activities. It is a very comprehensive process that covers nearly all the aspects of the human personality. Its scope touches aspects like the formation of habits, development of interests, attitudes, a sense of appreciation and critical observation, acquisition of beliefs, perfection of values and ideals, and setting of the goals and purposes. Therefore, learning as a whole is not confined to the formal classroom learning activities. Life presents enormous opportunities to learn, and learning activities are so many that it is difficult to limit them in any specific categories. How one eats, drinks, dresses, what are his specific hobbies, interests, attitudes, beliefs and aspirations, how he strives and what ideals and values he aims at, what is his concept of himself, etc., all are examples of learnt and acquired behavior. And the scope of learning definitely embraces all these aspects into its domain. Factors influencing learning. There are a lot of factors influencing learning. Prominent among them are individual variables, task variables and method variables. Individual variables. These variables are related with the nature of the learner. The important individual variable that influence learning are maturation. Maturation refers to the unfolding of biologically inherited potentialities as a function of time. The learning which an individual is capable of taking up is dependent on the level of his maturation. Lacking a sufficient degree of maturity, a child cannot learn. Maturation sets limits beyond which development cannot progress even with the most favorable learning methods and strongest motivation on the part of the learner. The rate of learning will be greatest when the maturation condition is most favorable. Readiness to learn. Learning readiness is the capacity and willingness to learn. Specific learning will not occur until the learner is ready for it. If the child is ready or mentally set to learn, he learns faster, better and with greater satisfaction. Age. When other factors remain constant, a progressive improvement occurs in learning with increase in age. The ability to learn new material increases until about 20 years of age, then remains constant till 30 and declines rapidly after 50. Sex. Sex differences have been noticed in learning of certain abilities. Boys excel girls in learning of motor skills involving the exercise of strong gross muscles, whereas girls do better in skills requiring delicate coordination of smaller muscles and strict attention to detail. Previous experience. Successful previous experience is a motivational force to consequent performances, while unsuccessful experience puts a drag on further learning and lower the level of aspiration. Mental abilities. Learning of a task necessarily depends upon the learner's mental abilities like intelligence, aptitude, creativity, imagination, thinking, reasoning, etc. Physical handicaps. The defects of vision, hearing, speech, etc. tend to affect an individual's learning adversely. Orthopedic handicaps retard the learning of many motor skills. Task variables. These variables are related with the nature of learning material. Important task variables that influence learning are length of the task. If length of the learning material exceeds the memory span of the learner, the time taken to learn will be more. Difficulty of the task. Difficult tasks take more time to learn. The learner has to spend more energy and time, and this creates fatigue, which in turn slows down the rate of learning of such material. Meaningfulness of the task. It is easier to learn and retain meaningful material than a meaningless one. Meaning enables the learner to identify previous experiences to which the new task can be associated. Such association facilitate effective learning. Method variables. These variables are related with the nature of the learning situation. The important method variables that influence learning are the following. Method of learning. Learning success depends upon whether the learner is adopting the whole method or part method. If the unit for study is meaningful and compact, the whole method is better. But in cases where the parts themselves are more closely integrated than the whole, the part method may work well. Amount of practice. Retention increases with practice. Overlearning is recommended for better retention. Overlearning means learning beyond the point of first errorless reproduction. Distribution of practice. For better learning and longer retention, spaced or distributed practice is superior to massed practice. Distributed practice helps in removing the monotony of long periods of study. Moreover, the learner gets a fresh start after a period of rest, and thus his interest in the task can be maintained. Availability of incentives. It has been found that availability of incentives in learning situation encourages better learning and longer retention. Knowledge of result acts as a strong incentive to learning. Pupils who are promptly informed of their improvement make satisfactory progress in their studies. Let me summarize the session. Learning is one of the most fundamental concepts in psychology. Learning is at the heart of perception, thinking, imagination, reasoning, judgments, attitudes, personality traits, systems of value, and the development and organization of the activities that constitute personality of the individual. Learning can be defined as any relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of practice or experience. Learning is the process by which behavior is modified or changed through experiences or training. Hildgard defines learning as a change in a subject's behavior to a given situation brought about by his repeated experiences in that situation. However, all types of changes in your behavior are not necessarily caused by learning. Maturation, the natural process of growth and development, causes changes quite independent of any experience, practice or learning. Similarly, the changes produced by some factors like fatigue, illness, medicine, intoxicating objects, fear, anger, etc. also do not cause such serious and enduring changes in behavior. The changes associated with our direct or indirect experiences and formal attempts of practice and teaching can only result in quite stable and enduring changes in our behavior, and that is why such type of changes are likely to be associated with the processes and product of learning. Learning is also defined as acquisition of a new behavior pattern, and it involves new ways of doing things. There are a lot of factors influencing learning. Prominent among them are individual variables, task variables and method variables. Individual variables include maturation, readiness to learn, age, sex, previous experience, mental abilities and physical handicaps. Task variables include length of the task, difficulty of the task and meaningfulness of the task. Method variables influencing learning are method of learning, amount of practice, distribution of practice, availability of incentives, nature of sensory approach, etc. Now, you can try to answer the questions given here. What do you mean by learning? Bring out the importance of learning in our life. What are the ways in which the term learning is defined? What are the important characteristics of learning? What are the individual variables affecting learning? Discuss the task variables affecting learning. What are the method variables that affect learning? Hope that you may go through the reference books for further understanding. Psychological Foundations of Education, written by Biggie M.L. and Hung M.P. and published by Harper and Row, New York in 1968. Education Psychology, written by Crow L.D. and Crow A. and published by Eurasia Publishing House, New Delhi in the year 1973. Theories of Learning, 2nd edition, written by Hilgard E.R. and Bower G.H. and published by Prentice Hall, Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey in the year 1957. Advanced Educational Psychology, written by Kuppuswamy B. and published by University Publication Delhi in 1964. An Introduction to Psychology, written by Murphy G. and published by Oxford and IBH, New Delhi in the year 1968. Thank you for watching this program. We can meet again with another topic soon. Have a nice day.